The story of the modern internet is in many ways the story of two brilliant minds who saw the digital world differently. Their names were Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They came from different backgrounds, but they shared a powerful curiosity. Larry Page grew up in Michigan. His father was a professor of computer science at Michigan State University. His home was filled with computers and science magazines. From a young age, Larry was surrounded by the language of technology. He learned to take things apart to see how they worked. He was fascinated by inventors like Nikola Tesla. He dreamed of changing the world not just with an idea, but with a business that could bring that idea to everyone. Sergey Brin's journey began in a very different place. He was born in Moscow in the Soviet Union. His family was Jewish, and they faced discrimination. His father was a talented mathematician who could not advance in his career because of his heritage. Seeking a better life and more freedom, his family moved to the United States when Sergey was only 6 years old. They settled in Maryland, where his father became a math professor at the University of Maryland. Sergey inherited his father's gift for numbers. In the mid-1990s, Stanford University was the heart of the digital revolution. The brightest minds in computer science gathered there, surrounded by the energy of Silicon Valley. It was here, in 1995, that Larry Page and Sergey Brin met. Larry was a new PhD student from Michigan, quiet and thoughtful. Sergey, who was already a student there, was assigned to show him around campus. Their first meeting was not the start of an instant friendship. In fact, they disagreed on almost everything. They argued about technology, economics, and the future of society. Each saw the other as arrogant. Despite their constant arguments, they found that they enjoyed the intellectual challenge. They pushed each other to think more deeply. They discovered a shared fascination with one topic in particular, the World Wide Web. At that time, the web was a messy, disorganized place. Search engines existed, but they were not very good. They often returned irrelevant results. Larry Page had an idea. It was a deceptively simple concept that would form the core of their future success. He wondered if the links between web pages could be used to measure their importance. In the academic world, a research paper is considered more important if it is cited by many other respected papers. Larry thought the same logic could be applied to the web. A web page was likely to be more valuable if many other pages linked to it. They called their research project Backrub. They began to build a system that would crawl the entire web, downloading and analyzing every page and every link. They wrote complex algorithms to process the vast amount of data they were collecting. The goal of Backrub was to create a ranking of every page on the web based on its authority. The core of Backrub was a revolutionary algorithm they later named PageRank, a clever pun on Larry's last name and the concept of a web page. As they developed Backrub, they realized they had created something far more powerful than just a research project. Their search engine consistently delivered better, more useful results than any of the leading search engines of the day. Friends and fellow students at Stanford started using it and were amazed by its accuracy. The word began to spread. Larry and Sergey knew they were onto something big. Their academic project had the potential to become a real business that could change how everyone used the internet. With their powerful new search technology, Larry and Sergey faced a big decision. They approached several major internet companies, including Yahoo, but no one was interested enough to buy it for the price they wanted. Frustrated but determined, Larry and Sergey decided to take the biggest risk of their lives. They would build their own company. Their first major breakthrough came in the summer of 1998. Andy Bechtolsheim, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems, saw a quick demo of their search engine. He was so impressed that he immediately wrote them a check for $100,000. The check was made out to Google Inc. The only problem was that Google Inc. did not yet exist. With their first seed money, they officially founded Google Inc. in September 1998. They moved out of their dorm room and set up their first office in a friend's garage in Menlo Park, California. The garage, owned by Susan Wojcicki, became a legendary part of their story. They filled the garage with computers, desks, and a bright blue carpet. They worked day and night, refining their search engine and building the infrastructure needed to handle a growing number of users. Once Google launched, its growth was explosive. It spread not through expensive marketing campaigns but through word of mouth. Users who tried Google were so impressed with the quality of its search results that they told their friends. People were tired of sifting through irrelevant links on other search engines. Google gave them what they wanted, almost instantly. The company's focus on user experience really paid off. The company's success attracted major investors. In 1999, Google secured $25 million in funding from two of Silicon Valley's most prestigious venture capital firms. With this new funding, they also brought in an experienced executive, Eric Schmidt, to serve as CEO. Schmidt provided the adult supervision they needed to grow into a mature corporation. A key challenge was figuring out how to make money without compromising their user-first philosophy. Their solution was AdWords. This advertising system displayed small text-based ads next to the search results. An advertiser would only pay Google when a user actually clicked on the ad. This model was a win for everyone. Users saw ads that were actually useful, advertisers got a great return on their investment, and Google found a way to generate billions of dollars in revenue. By the mid-2000s, Google had become the undisputed king of search. It had left competitors like AltaVista, Lycos, and Yahoo far behind. The company went public with a massive IPO in 2004, making its founders and early employees billionaires. But even as a large public company, they stayed true to their original mission. They were not content to just be a search engine. They were on a quest to organize all of the world's information, and search was just the beginning. Larry and Sergey built Google on a foundation of continuous innovation. They fostered a unique corporate culture designed to encourage creativity and experimentation. One of their most famous policies was 20% time, which allowed engineers to spend one day a week working on their own passion projects. This policy led to some of Google's most successful products. In 2004, they launched Gmail. At the time, competing email services offered only a few megabytes of storage. Gmail launched with a full gigabyte of free storage, 1,000 times more than its rivals. It also introduced a powerful search feature that allowed users to instantly find any email they had ever sent or received. In 2005, they launched Google Maps and Google Earth. These products set out to map the entire physical world and make it searchable and explorable from a computer. Google Earth allowed users to fly anywhere on the planet, viewing three-dimensional buildings and terrain. A year later, Google made another bold move by acquiring a small video-sharing website called YouTube for $1.65 billion. Many analysts thought the price was too high, but Larry and Sergey saw the future. In the mid-2000s, Google secretly began developing a mobile operating system to compete with Apple's iPhone. In 2008, the first Android phone was released. This move fundamentally reshaped the smartphone industry, making powerful mobile computing accessible to billions of people around the world. By 2015, Google had become a massive and complex organization. It was a search and advertising giant, but it was also involved in dozens of other ambitious projects, from self-driving cars and life sciences to smart home devices and high-speed internet. These moonshot projects were exciting, but they were very different from Google's core internet business. In a surprise announcement in August 2015, Larry Page revealed a major corporate restructuring. Google Inc. would be reorganized into a new parent company called Alphabet. Under this new structure, the core Google business would become one large subsidiary of Alphabet. All the other ventures would be spun out as independent companies, each with its own CEO. Larry Page would become the CEO of Alphabet, while Sergey Brin would be its president. The CEO of the new, leaner Google would be Sundar Pichai, a longtime Google executive. The creation of Alphabet was a brilliant strategic move. It allowed the core Google business to focus on what it does best, developing and improving its wildly profitable internet services. At the same time, it gave the other ventures the freedom and independence to operate like startups. They could take bigger risks and pursue long-term goals without being constrained by quarterly earnings pressure. The legacy of Larry Page and Sergey Brin is as vast as the internet they helped to shape. They did more than just build a successful company, they fundamentally changed how humanity accesses and interacts with information. Before Google, the web was a library with no card catalog. They provided the catalog, making knowledge instantly accessible to anyone with an internet connection. Their impact is felt billions of times a day, every time someone types a query into a search box. Their influence extends far beyond search. Products like Google Maps, Gmail, and Android have become essential tools for modern life, shaping how we communicate, navigate, and interact with the world around us. One of their most profound legacies will be their investment in artificial intelligence. From the beginning, they saw search as an AI problem. Their goal was to understand language and intent, to create a search engine that understood exactly what you meant. The future of their vision lies in the continuing evolution of artificial intelligence. The next generation of technology will be defined by AI that is more conversational, more personal, and more integrated into the fabric of our lives. In late 2019, Larry and Sergey stepped down from their executive roles, handing over the reins to Sundar Pichai. Though no longer in day-to-day operations, their vision continues to guide the company. Their story is a powerful testament to the impact two people with a brilliant idea can have on the world. They were not just computer scientists, they were architects of the digital age. Their legacy is not just the technology they built, but the optimistic belief that we can solve any problem. The mission to organize the world's information is a perpetual one, because the amount of information in the world will never stop growing. Their story is a reminder that the quest for knowledge is a fundamental human drive, and that technology, when guided by a clear and optimistic vision, can be the most powerful tool we have to help us on that quest. The internet they changed forever is still evolving, and the journey they started is far from over.